Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Voodoo Vapor's review. And yeah, this evening I want to talk about the Billet Box and what I've discovered just quite recently, actually, which is the VapeShell by Atmizoo, and what a wonderful product it is. I first was introduced to the Billet Box probably about, quite some time ago, but like on my first one about a year ago. I did struggle with it, and I don't think it was so much the Billet Box, it was the bridge that came with it, which was an insider. And I just struggled with it. I couldn't get used to it at all in any which way or form, and I found it too airy for what I was vaping and the kind of style I was looking for vaping from the Billet Box. So naturally, I sold it, as one does if they're not too happy with a product. And then I thought I'd give it another go, and I bought a Rev Black. The Rat Black, sorry, 60 watt. And again, I had another insider, and yet again, I struggled with it. However, I didn't quite give up this time. I always wanted the poo, which is a purple Billet Box, and one came up. So instantly, I sold the Rat Black to somebody else and got myself something that I was really excited to get. And here it is. This is the poo. It's a purple. It comes standard with black doors. You can see inside here. This is a 60 watt, and I must say, since I stopped using the insider and started using the VapeShell, the whole Billet Box experience has changed for me. So let's go into it. Let's have a look, and let's build the VapeShell. So here we are. Let's just zoom in a bit so we can get, there we go, that takes us in a bit better. Okay, so firstly, let's look at the Billet Box. Okay, so let's turn it the right way up. I mean, sorry, not the Billet Box, the VapeShell. So it's made by Atmizoo, which are a Greek company in Greece. And this is what you get inside. This is an airflow control that it comes with, which I don't use. This is the VapeShell. If you can see there, it's the VapeShell. And we're going to open that up just now. And then these here are different size airflow controls. So you can have a big airflow control, like a smaller version, a medium, small, and extra small. I'm using the small. I'm just off of the smallest airflow in my VapeShell. Then you get what this is here. This is a 510 connector, so you can screw that on. Oops, you can screw that on, and that then gets placed on an ohms reader, an ohms meter, or a mod, and then you can fire your coil, etc. inside. So you can dry burn and set it all up. There's your deck, a wonderful deck. As you can see in the middle there, that's the airflow I've got in there. There is one smaller than that, and there's two more that are actually larger sizes. So far, this is my favourite one. I will try the smallest one at some point, but at the moment, I'm really enjoying this. And if you can see, those two holes, let me just show you. There's two holes there. There we go. You can see those two holes. Okay, that's where your juice goes into. That's your juice flow there. Okay, so now also what we have in here is, if we lift this up and open the box up completely, which, there we go, you get yourself a sticker, you get yourself some more post screws, and you get yourself like a little instruction manual and a booklet in here, as you can see, the user manual. But let's get on with building the actual VapeShell, and we'll go from there. So now, in order to build this VapeShell, I'm going to need to use a mod. Okay, so I'm going to use the double barrel here. I'm going to, as you can see, I put that 510 connector on. That goes onto there quite nicely. And then I screw it into the top of the mod. Like so. There we go. Let me just put these other bits away so I don't lose them. Okay, and then we're left with the chimney, which we'll come back to just now. But let's get on building these. I've got some coil, the Coil Company coils. These are 3mm aliens. I personally like to take a wrap off these, so I just get some more. It just drops the ohms a bit, you know, and I enjoy it a bit better. Okay, so I just drop that there. Then we'll get a screwdriver. Now these screws are just incredible. They're so deep, you know. Sometimes you get these screws which, you know, you're forever fiddling with about. I mean, these, just look at that. That is just, I mean, perfectly smooth. And the machining on this thing is just amazing. It's such a beautiful piece of kit, this VapeShell, and you can see it's a rectangular shape. I absolutely love it. You know, as I said, it's changed my vaping experience completely with the Billet Box. Okay, so the VapeShell is a bridge. Here's the alien I'm going to put in. There's two ways you can put these in, actually. See the legs? You can either put the legs facing up, which will bring the coil further down, or do it the other way, and it'll bring the coil further up from the airflow. I prefer it sitting just above the airflow, so I'm going to just, let me just get the right position for this. Let me just unscrew this a bit more. There we go. So let's get building. There we go. I'll get that one side in first. I put that side in, and you can see it goes diagonally across the actual bridge, the deck. Okay, so just get that screw in slightly. Let's get this one in slightly, then we'll start adjusting it to bring it to a satisfactory position. Okay, so now I just want to come a bit more this way. Just loosen that. Just come a tiny bit more this way. Just loosen that slightly there. It's a bit fiddly, but it's not that bad really. There we go. So now I just tighten that, tighten the coil into place. And then the same with this one here. Tighten that coil into place. Okay. I always say don't over tighten screws, you know. This one needs to go in a bit under this leg, a bit further under. I'm not happy with that. Let's just get it a bit further under that screw. There we go. That's a bit better. Let's try it now. There we go, that's much better. So now what we're left with is, let's just play around with this coil a bit to get it satisfactory and sitting correctly on this deck. Okay, so what we're kind of left with is that. at an angle, if you can see. It's at an angle. This is not the best of cameras, but yeah, it's at an angle. And now we're going to just dry fire it and get it all comfortably in position, etc. So let me just snip these off, these legs. Snip that off a bit more. There we go. And I'm just going to tighten up this a bit more. There we are. There we are. Okay, so let's just, I just want to play around with this coil so I'm happy. Okay, now let me just turn down the wattage on this thing. Okay, I'm just going to take it all the way down to about 40 watts will do. And then we'll slowly start by heating that coil up and getting it glowing evenly. This is at the moment coming out of 0.3 ohm coils, 0.3 ohms. Some hot spots there. There we go, let's just tweezer them a bit, just to create a tighter fit. There we go, starting to glow from the inside out. Nice. Now I've got it just slightly over the hole, probably about 2-3 mil just over the air hole. I quite like that height because the flavour is great at that height, and also it just makes it slightly a tighter draw for me. Okay, so now I'm using titanium fibre cotton, which I talked about in my last video, and I'm really enjoying this stuff, but this stuff is quite thick, so it needs thinning out a bit when you actually put it in. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of ways to wick the VapeShell, however I found a way that I like and seems to work very well. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to stick that through there like that. Stick the wicking through. There we go. Nice. Nice. Now what I do is with the VapeShell, I just follow the angle of the actual deck. You can see, so here I cut it at that angle like that, and I'll do the same this side. I cut it, I'll come from this way and do it. I cut it like that. There you go. So what you got is that. Now, as I said, this titanium cotton is it's just fantastic stuff. You know, I'm really enjoying it. For years I've been using cotton bacon V2, but this is just blown me away. You know, I'm just going to thin this out a tiny bit because it is thicker than the cotton bacon V2. Just a tiny bit, so the juice can get right into that cotton. Okay, and then the other side. There we go. Yeah, that's enough. And then just give it one more little snip to clean it up. There we go. And now I'm gonna use a tobacco today. And this is Vabuco Sweet Nuts tobacco. I enjoy it. It's quite nice. And I'm just gonna wet these wicks. So let's just get some juice on that. There we go. And just give it a slight burn. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to wick it like that. just tuck it inside that build deck, just like that. Okay, so now what we're left with is that. Okay, so let's take this off now. Now, comes off of the 510 connector, so that's left in there. All I'll do is just remove that from the mod. And then just put that away. Now, this is, some people said this is tricky. I'm finding it okay. Now, on the actual chimney, you can see there's the logo on there. You follow that logo with the logo on the front of the deck, if you can see that there. There we go, it's just the latest. There we go, you see the logo on the front of the deck. So what I do first is I put the chimney into the burrow tank first. Get that right inside and up. Let's just get it in there. So you got it like that. So basically you're pulling it through all together. Then I drop the deck in, and then with the chimney I adjust it till it finds true. There you go, and then you push it right in like that, nice and tight. Okay, now what we're going to do is just put the glass onto the barrow, and what you're left with is that. Okay, there we go, there's your VapeShell. Now, what else I was introduced to by a gentleman called Rob Fisher. He brought them into the country, were these dampless plugs. Now, in the past, these burrow tanks have caused a lot of condensation and leaking, and you know, after a while it becomes very messy. So with this dampless plug, basically you fit it into the bottom here. Oh, that's the wrong way around. Fit it into the bottom here like that. And now, see, if you didn't fit that and put that in, you can see you've got that hole there, that gap. That's your airflow underneath there. However, with this wonderful invention, this dampless plug, you put that in, drop your burrow tank in, and that prevents any type of leaking. That there just prevents any type of leaking. Then what we do is we put our drip tip in like that, and then what we're left with is that. Okay, now we put our battery in, give it a fire, and here we go, the billet box is firing up. It's currently at 45 watts. I'm going to drop it just a little bit. I like vaping it at 45 to 50 watts. I'm going to drop it just a little bit, so just to break that cotton in. Okay, now the ohms have gone up to 0.41, which is fine. Nice place to be. And I fill this up by literally filling that area up there. As you can see, I'm filling this barrel tank up. So now it's got some nice bit of juice in there. Just going to fill it up a bit more. There we are, that will do. Then you just slide the glass up and you're left with that. Okay, now that's literally ready to go. So the front goes on like that, the back with the button goes on like that, and there's your billet box. So let's take this back up to us now, and let's just zoom out so we can get my ugly mug back into perspective. And yeah, so here's the billet box. There we go. What a wonderful vape. The flavour coming through this tobacco is just lovely. You know, I have found that some juices don't work too well in the Billet Box, especially desserts. It does. I think desserts need a little bit more heat. It doesn't give out the full flavour of the dessert. You know, and most desserts are quite complex, so you know, layer upon layer, you're not getting that. But with, you know, basic fruits, some tobaccos like this one in particular, menthols, ice juices, etc. It is just, it's brilliant, and it's just so handy, so easy to carry in your pocket, and that's at 35 watts. I'm just going to push the wattage up a bit more now. As I said, I like a bit more wattage, a bit more heat. To now, I'm back up, I'm on to 46, that's fine. Such a wonderful device. As I said, the VapeShell has changed the vaping experience in the Billet Box so much more. It's just you know, it's extraordinary. As I said before, I wasn't too happy with what I was getting, but since I've had the VapeShell, it's just marvelous, you know. And for value for money, it's brilliant. You know, it's not expensive. I can't remember exactly how many euros it was, but honestly, I think landed it came out to about 1,200 rand. You know, and for a bridge, a high end bridge, that is cheap. You know, I love it, and I really highly recommend it. I will give. I might be pushing it, but I'll give a 9 out of 10 out of this, you know. And the only reason why I'm not giving that extra one for 10 out of 10 is just because then I think I'll be a bit too biased. But get it. Those of you who love Billet Boxes, just do it. It's worth every penny. So anyway, thank you for being with me this evening, and I look forward to seeing you again. And next time, you know, we'll look at another mod. And yeah, have a wonderful evening, and I'll speak to you again soon.